it is not a good time to be flying. Let's get this thing off the ground. If you have any experience with streaming, whether on Twitch or YouTube or any other live platform, you know you need the mouse and keyboard to play your game, not to juggle between scenes or check on chat. Thankfully, there is a whole ecosystem of devices specifically designed to help you manage your streams, from the simple 6-button Elgato Stream Deck Mini to the studio-ready Roland Bridgecast X. I'm Seth Macy, and today I am going to show you the best streaming deck options from the budget to the best. It's right there in the name. Elgato's Stream Deck line of Stream Decks is probably the first thing that comes to mind when you think of devices for this very purpose. And while there's a wide variety of official Stream Decks available, the absolute best, if you're on a budget, is the $60 Stream Deck Mini. This 6-button device really is a miniature version of its bigger siblings, keeping the same basic design and reducing its footprint. You still get the gorgeous LCD buttons, which are completely customizable in the Stream Deck software, by the way. Sure, it only has 6 buttons compared to the larger Deck's 15, but you can configure the Stream Deck Mini in the Stream Deck software to have multiple pages worth of functionality. And just like every other Stream Deck, the button customization is deep. Right off the rip, you get volume controls, a screenshot button, and more, but you're probably gonna wanna change that up for your streaming purposes. There are a ton of options already available to you in the Stream Deck software, so you can just get up and go. You're also free to customize your experience however you want, right down to adding custom icons to the buttons. I love this, especially since it supports animated GIFs. What better way to know what button controls the Super Mario World coin sound effect than a rotating 16-bit coin animation? At $59.99, you kinda can't go wrong with this one. But if you want something with even more options, the LoupeDeck Live takes the basic idea of the Stream Deck Mini and expands upon it even further. If you've dealt with one of the more expensive Elgato devices, you kind of know what to expect from the LoupeDeck Live, but it's actually got some really excellent additions that set it apart from the multiple buttons of its competitors. But first, yeah, it also has customizable LCD buttons, 12 of them to be exact, but it also has a set of 2 LCD screens running on either side, flanked by 3 knobs each. You can assign these knobs stuff like volume control, brightness control, switching between windows. That's just the functionality out of the box. And for a little extra dimension, the LCD buttons have a feedback to them. Bzz. There are 7 different profile buttons on the face of the LoupeDeck Live, so you can very easily swap between profiles. For instance, there's a pre-built profile for launching common programs on your computer, right down to command prompt. How did this thing know I use command prompt so much? That's just good business right there. But seriously, if you don't want to take the time to program in your own custom control schemes into the LoupeDeck Live, the software makes it super easy to browse over 200 profiles, plugins, icon packs, and more in the marketplace. And there are some pretty interesting pre-made profile solutions available too. Some of them are paid, but the majority are free and provided by LoupeDeck itself. There are profiles for stuff like Civ 6 and Baldur's Gate 3, but also Adobe Premiere Pro and even Excel. Hell yes, Excel Pro League.
He was sitting on point. Hold that up in the air.
The future of esports, E for Excel. Okay, now we're at the top of the heap, the Roland Bridgecast X. First off, while the LoupeDeck and Elgato Stream Deck are fine pieces of equipment, they almost feel like toys compared with the Bridgecast X. This beast is made of metal and it's heavy, which I like because it doesn't slip around when I'm making adjustments to it. Of all 3, this is also the most specialized for controlling the sound of your streams and video recording. Roland is probably best known for its high-end drum machines like the iconic 808, among other professional pieces of studio equipment. Because of this, you get some features you won't find in the other devices I've talked about. Stuff like the ability to accept an XLR mic and juice it with the 48 volts of phantom power it craves. It also has 2 HDMI inputs and a pass-through to feed into your capture card. That means no more needing to manually swap when you decide to change from your streaming PC to streaming a console or other HDMI device. And I appreciate that. Side note though, this isn't a capture card. You still need to provide that yourself. More than anything, the Roland Bridgecast X is the device you should be using for absolute control over your audio. There are 4 channels of sound here labeled mic, chat, HDMI, and game, but their inputs can be adjusted in the Bridgecast X app. It's pretty awesome to be able to adjust levels on the fly with physical knobs, and each knob is surrounded by an array of LEDs that function as a level meter, so you can see at a glance which inputs might need to be turned up and which ones might be peaking. You also get vocal control functions, so you can change the pitch and character of your voice. On top of that, you have 5 different programmable EQ settings you can easily cycle through, a dedicated headphone jack for monitoring everything. Honestly, this is a serious machine for people truly looking for the best possible sound and video mixing. But wait, there's more. There's also a 6-button control pad to which you can assign even more functionality. Now, the downside compared to the other streaming decks is the buttons don't have LCD screens built in. But again, this is an all-in-one solution if you're looking for a sound mixer with HDMI input and output, as well as video over USB-C. I will say this, because this is a studio level device, I found the learning curve a little steep. The manual tells you everything you need to know, but it also assumes you know things like, well, what phantom power is. And if you know, you know. So there you have it, 3 options to up your streaming game from budget to the best. There are tons of options out there right now. Which solution are you using for your own streams? Let us know in the comments. Also, since I have you here, why don't you check out our budget to best guide to the best augmented reality headsets? And of course, for everything else, keep it right here on IGN, baby. Stream out. Boom. Because I'm coming in a little too hot for this teeny little airfield. Oh, dude. Oh, that was freaking dope as hell. That was the best landing I've ever done.